Hey everyone, this is Jeff with Eye Candy Pigments, and alongside me I have Lindsay with Slimebardo Company.
Hello.
Why is Eye Candy bringing in slime? Several reasons. And why are we bringing in her slime? Several reasons. Number one, we like slime. But no, number two, you see in front of us we have some slime, and you see a disc puck. And a lot of our customers use our pigments specifically for epoxy, which is not a bad thing, but then again, it's not really cost effective if you're testing colors and pigments. So what better way to bring her slime in and use our pigments that shows the true color, right?
Yeah.
It's cost effective. And then if you have customers asking for 10 color shades, then again, we're going to show you here in a minute how you can mix our pigments with our slime, and it's reusable. Vice, again, using epoxy. Here I have super clear, and then waiting for it to dry, and that might not be the color, and here you go, using more epoxy to test our colors. And most importantly, slime, her slime shows our pigments to a T. Here is a disc puck with epoxy, and this is the red. Put it back in a jar.
Save it for another day.
Save it for another day.
Yeah.
And then go from there. So today, Lindsay, I have Lindsay. She was kind enough to come down and visit us for a day. So thanks, Lindsay.
Thank you for having me.
And today, I don't know anything about slime. Absolutely nothing.
That's why I'm really here.
And there's a time, an instance when we were playing with slime down here, and it just got all sticky. And today, Lindsay's, we're just going to make a video on the do's and don'ts. Mm-hmm. How do you identify when you open a jar, not to touch it like we did? We just go in there full blast, pull it out, and we got goo all over our hands, especially when it's been sitting a while. And then maybe cover on why or how long to expect it to turn gooey. And
I'll share all of that with you folks.
Okay. All right. Go for it. So I guess I should ask a question.
Yeah. What questions do you have?
So I'm the new guy. When I get slime, when I get slime and I open it up, how do I know not to go for it? You know?
Okay. So a little background on slime. Slime is essentially glue, clear glue, so that it can best show the pigments, with a bit of activator, which is borax mixed in, and some other ingredients to make it stretchy and glossy. But when you receive your slime, it should more or less look like this. And when you touch it, you should be able to stick your finger in, pull it out. This one is just a smidge over-activated, which is personally how I like it. I like it to be thick. I like it to not be tacky at all. But since there's a chemical reaction that occurs between the boric acid in the borax and the polyvinyl alcohol in the glue, it does deactivate over time and essentially goes back to glue. So, good slime. This is how it should look and feel when you pull it out and you're ready to use it. Then one that is...
Real quick, how long does it last without turning into that?
So it really depends on your location and the conditions that it's going through. If you're in a hot and humid area, it's going to deactivate much faster than if you're in a dry, colder, more arid climate. So in Pennsylvania, where I live, it can take months for this to deactivate. But down here in Florida, we know that it can sometimes it takes weeks. So I'm going to show you how to get this, that's a little bit more ooey gooey, back to this today. So if you open it up and you see it stick, and you can just tap it with one finger and it does this, you don't want to submerge your whole hand in that because it's going to suction around your hand.
Been there, done that.
Yes, you have. And it's going to be, difficult to use. So I'm going to show you how to mix up a packet of activator, which this comes with every purchase of slime, and this is enough to make 8 ounces of activator, which for a jar like this will last you the rest of your life. And I'm going to show you how to add that and what to do when you open it up in this situation. Now here you have some slime with one of your beautiful pigments mixed in, and this one is also, we poured it out, very deactivated. So you might mix some pigment into your slime to show a customer put it on the shelf, come back to it 3 months later to show somebody else, and it's like this. So I'm going to show you what to do and what it'll look like throughout the process of reactivating that as well, so that it's holdable.
Perfect. I mean, because we do have a lot of businesses and shops and distributors that use our pigments and may be interested in testing our colors like this, and then, like you said, 2 months later they have another customer who wants to see various shades of reds or an ultra shift, and like me, like I did a month ago, I'm going to dip my hand in, and then I'm all sticky, and then I'm calling you and asking you how to get it off my hands. So.
And telling me to buy a plane ticket.
Yeah, I did.
Get down here.
Yeah, please come down here. I need help. Because obviously I didn't want to release something on our website and then put a bad name to your product or have the answers for
Sure.
our customers, because it's not your fault, it's slime. So
It is the nature of the beast.
that's right.
So,
okay.
Should I jump right in and show you
Sure.
how to reactivate it?
We can do that. Yeah.
So we've got a bowl of water here that is just a cup of water, and then this little packet with your care card and instructions on how to mix this is going to come along with your slime. So we're going to open this up. Let me get this out of here. Tells you your slime care on the back, that you want to start with clean and well moisturized skin, and how to mix this together. So 1 cup of water. I like to start with warm water so that it dissolves easily. You could even do a 1/2 cup of boiling water, pour this in, mix it, and then add enough ice cubes to make it a full cup, so that way it's usable right away.
So I have a question then.
Sure.
What if I lose this packet? What if I lose this? Is there a way for me to go find it or find
Yes.
this ingredients?
Yes, you can either contact us, contact Eye Candy, or you can purchase a box of borax from your local grocery store. 1 teaspoon of borax to 8 ounces of water is the ratio that you're looking for to create this activator. So once we pour it in, we're just going to mix that up, and if it's boiling water, it's going to dissolve very quickly. But again, 1/2 cup of boiling water, because you want to be able to add ice cubes so that it's usable right away. And once it's fully mixed and you don't see any more of the powdered particles in it, looks nice and clear, then you're ready to go. So we're going to set that aside because I have some activator mixed up already in a bottle. And this is exactly what I just made, and it's nice and clear. And what you're going to want to do is just add it to your sticky slime a little bit at a time. So we'll move this one aside. And this is slime that is really perfect to use. It's activated the right amount. This has a few bubbles in it that you can see because we've been playing with it, and the more you play with it, the more bubbles will work their way into it. But as you let it sit, the bubbles will rise out. So this one, you can see I put my finger in it, you've got some bubbles. Within a day or two, the bubbles will rise out. But once it's all mixed up with your pigment, you're not going to even notice the majority of those bubbles. So we'll start with this one with a nice, sticky, deactivated slime. And what I like to do first is just put, that's maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon of activator on top. And I just put it on top and put a little bit on your fingers as well, so that it's not going to get all stuck to you. And you can do this 2 ways. You can keep it in the container to kind of mix it, or you can dump it out onto either a countertop if you're feeling brave, or pour it into a bowl. We've got a lot of countertop space available, so I'm just going to dump this out here to show you.
If most people are like me, that don't lotion your hands or moisturize your hands, I highly advise that you do it.
Yes.
I have dry skin.
Moisturize. So you can see here, this is sticky. I've got the little bit of activator here on my hands, and I'm going to pour about 1/2 teaspoon more onto here. Now the thing that's important is that you're adding a little bit at a time, because when you add too much to this, it will eventually start to feel like rubber. And you can see I can pick it up already. And we're just going to add a little bit at a time until it's to the point where I can touch it, I can handle it. And there we go. Adding just a little bit at a time. And you'll know it's ready when it's no longer tacky on your hands, when it no longer sticks to the surface where you're mixing it. So get any remnants off of the counter. This feels like it's almost ready, and just one more little shot ought to do it. Do one more. Okay, there we go. So now we're at a good place to touch this and to add whatever color pigment you'd like. You can see here it looks like it's full of bubbles. It's not as clear as it was. The bubbles will rise out. So I want to show you one of the ones that we mixed up yesterday and reactivated is here. And the bottom portion is already clear. By tomorrow, the bubbles will have risen more, and within a few days, they'll rise out completely. But once you add some pigment to this, you're not even going to really notice those bubbles. So we'll set this aside, and because there was still a little bit that was deactivated in the jar, I just put a little bit in there before I add this in so that it mixes together. And we'll come back to that and we'll mix in
Sounds good.
a pigment. Here we have some slime that we dumped out onto the table that is very deactivated. This is Tsunami. This is what it looked like in the jar. So if you open a jar and it's looking like this, you know it's time. This was just poured out. And to reactivate that, I put about a half teaspoon of activator on there. And I'm just going to slowly work this in. Again, you can work in a bowl, wherever your space is that you're comfortable. You can even wear gloves if you want to, but it will stick a bit to the gloves. And you want to treat this like you would treat resin. You don't want to, plop this down on your carpet and try to mix it. You want to make sure you have a flat and smooth surface. But already this one wasn't too terribly deactivated, because a half a teaspoon made it really easy to touch already. There we go. We've got this nice and reactivated now so that it's pliable, it's holdable, and you can really show what the pigment looks like. You see a little bit of striation in there where the chemical reaction is occurring, and that goes away within a couple of minutes as well. So we went from this ooey gooey to this in under a minute. And if you want to activate the rest of what's in the jar, put half teaspoon in. Just stir it with my finger. And there we go. And that'll come out. Throw another shot of that in there. And then when we put that back in the jar, it'll pull out anything that's left. And you can do this time and time again as well. So if a few months from now or a year from now you want to activate this again, you can do that. The longer it goes between activation, the more fluid it is going to get. It's going to turn back into glue. If you stick your finger in it and it is complete glue, you'll want to stir with a spoon to start out with. But it'll go back to this. And as you can see, I just mixed this and you don't really see a lot of the bubbles. Let me show one that was mixed yesterday. This was just reactivated yesterday, so it had some time for the bubbles in it to rise to the surface. I love that sound. And you can see, since this is all nice and reactivated, how much easier it comes out of the jar. What color is this, Jeff?
Zora Ero Blue.
So pretty. And it's not sticky. It's in a really good place to play with it and just show what the color can do.
So next, Lindsay, we're going to mix up a color. This is Busan Blue. Again, it shows, her slime shows the true color of our pigments. There's epoxy puck, and there is her slime. Takes about, what, 2 minutes, 1 minute to mix up a color and slime. Vice pouring epoxy into a mold, make sure everything's clean, come back the next day, demold, and so on.
There aren't air bubbles in it.
Right, no air bubbles. And then your customer's waiting, might not be the color. So we're going to do a color. I'm going to let Lindsay do this because she does it so much easier than I would ever make it look. We're going to use Busan Blue, and then that'll be it. So she's going to pour some. There you go.
Alrighty. So this jar of slime right up to the very top is exactly 8 ounces, not including the lid space where it's 6 ounces. You could definitely break this up into smaller pieces and do, 1 ounce jars. 1 ounce jars if you want to, or you can keep it larger. But for this size jar, a half a teaspoon is all you need. Sometimes it's even too much because Jeff's pigments are wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
They go so far. So I take the slime out. This one is a nice thick activated slime, and I'm just gonna use one of our fancy spoons. But
Her
you can
spoons are
use
so nice.
you can use a measuring spoon if you want to be a little bit more precise. But this is between 1/4 and a half teaspoon that I'm just gonna put on here, and
this is where the magic happens.
yep, just gonna fold it in. I like to make sure I pinch the edges because if you don't, you see it go flying.
Here goes the bubbles pops.
Yep. And once you get it completely mixed, and there you have it. It's a really good representation of what that color is going to look like once you mix it with your epoxy resin or whatever you're mixing it with.
Right. Or just have fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, I hope this video helped you guys out. If you're buying a slime, which I recommend, again, hassle-free. Even if you don't know about slime, hope this video helped a little bit. I want to thank Lindsay at Slimebardo Co. I'm going to let her discuss where you can find her products, which I highly suggest. It's just not this stuff. She makes cupcakes and all this weird stuff on Etsy that I could play with all day. So
Oh, yeah.
tell a little bit about yourself and where you can find your
Well,
products.
thank you again for having me here, Jeff. It was just an honor to come and spend some time with you guys.
Vice versa.
Wonderful company. So you can find my slime at slimebardoandco.com or at slimebardoandco.etsy.com, depending on where you prefer to shop. And we'll have our clear slimes available for you to use to mix in pigments, as well as my other food type slimes. You can't eat them. And it's a lot of fun to play with and a great tool to have.
Well, thank you. Again, get it. No
Thank
more
you.
epoxy tester colors. You have a great trip and look forward to it.
Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much, Lindsay. See you guys later.
Bye.